and I will address this. Everybody says that he had HIV in 1996. Are we agreed? I mean, he got kicked out of boxing because he had HIV, right? So that's where the rumor comes from. So let me address that because I think that that's really important. So in the lawsuit that I filed, because when Tommy actually died, I had a post-mortem done on Tommy. They asked me, do you want a post-mortem? And I said, absolutely. And I said, you know what? I want you to find the virus. I want you to find the HIV virus in Tommy. And if you find it, put it on the death certificate. If you find AIDS, put it on the death certificate, and let's get that out there. But I said, if you don't find HIV, if you don't find AIDS, then it doesn't go on the death certificate, right? So they did a post-mortem, and the post-mortem was done by Dr. Philip Smith, distinguished Dr. Philip Smith, Dr. Stephen Hinrichs, and these are quite superior guys in the medical industry. They did a post-mortem, and it came back 2 weeks after Tommy had died, at least 17 days after Tommy had died, and on there, no viral particles seen. No viral particles were seen, no abnormality, no retroviral inclusions, which means no HIV, because HIV is a retrovirus. No retroviral budding is present. It wasn't even HIV infection. And that's what his postmortem came back with. So while I'm waiting for his postmortem to come back, the media had gone crazy, and they said, well, Tommy was diagnosed with HIV on February 10th, 1996 by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and therefore he died September 1, 2013 from AIDS. Well, in the perfect world, you know, if you have the virus and it progresses and you get AIDS, you've got AIDS, right? But let's go back to 1996. Here is the lab report. And again, I don't know if you can see it, but here is the lab report. It's actually in court documents. And I've got all the corrections on there. Okay, the lab report has Tommy aged 99 years old. The lab report has a doctor's name, Robert Voy, who never ordered this test. The lab report says that the blood was stored in a toxicology freezer. Why would you freeze blood if you're going to test it for HIV? The lab report says that the results were called to a Dr. Russell. Well, this lawsuit finds that there was no Dr. Russell that was in Vegas that during that time that was even available to report to. There is no signature on the bottom of the lab report. And by the Code of Federal Regulations, 21, Part 11, 21, Part 211, you have to sign off on this to verify the results. It was also a $23 test, right? So you're telling me that Tommy Morrison had HIV, right? Well, let's go to the doctor. His name is Dr. Robert Voy, okay? That was the physician that was licensed by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Let's go to Dr. Voy's attorney, and that's Counsel Mortensen. And let's see what they file. The Las Vegas Council files in court records for Dr. Robert Voy. It is important for you to understand that Dr. Voy did not diagnose and never has diagnosed Mr. Morrison as HIV positive. That comes from the attorney, right? Okay, comes from the attorney 20 years later. Then the CEO of the lab where the test was run, that $23 test, in his court documents, his name is Dr. Henry Soloway. He says, I conclude that Mr. Morrison was never infected with HIV virus. That is from the CEO of the lab. And here, Hannibal, is his affidavit. stating just that, right? And then we have another court document that says, that states from Quest Labs, that's the laboratory, is that Quest Diagnostics has never contended that its laboratory test reports are confirmation of a definitive diagnosis of the presence of HIV, nor has Quest Diagnostics ever contended that the Nevada State Athletic Commission should accept a laboratory test result as a confirmation of a definitive diagnosis of any disease or condition. So even that lab report is not a definite condition. Another document in court records, state defendants, and that would be the commission, that would be Mark Ratner, that would be Dr. Margaret Goodman, and they state, neither the state defendants nor the Quest Diagnostics ever diagnosed Mr. Morrison as carrying the HIV virus. And then they say again, and this is the Attorney General in Vegas, as stated numerous times, no diagnosis of HIV was made on February 10, 1996, or at any other time by any state defendants. Another court document. So I'm bringing this up because this is what we were told, is that, and this is what Tommy was told, is that he was diagnosed with HIV in 1996. And so another document, docket 174, and this can all be pulled up. It says plaintiff, and that would be me, I'm the one that filed the case. Plaintiff now recognizes that neither the state defendants nor the Quest Diagnostics ever diagnosed Mr. Morrison as carrying the HIV virus. Plaintiff additionally agrees with the defendants that Mr. Morrison was never diagnosed with the human immune deficiency virus in Las Vegas in February 1996 by any defendants. And that's 20 years later, you know. And then you've got the Dr. Berliner, who was at the weigh-in. He also comes out with his statement and his affidavit, right, signed under oath. And he goes, I have this day examined the above named person and find them in physical condition to engage in boxing contest or wrestling exhibition for the above date. And that's signed by the physician. And the judge himself in Vegas says, we wouldn't even be having this discussion if the test was specific for the existence of the virus or not. That's obviously why there's even the possibility of a claim. The test didn't test for the virus, and that's the judge, and he's a federal judge. This was at federal court. And then you've got Bob Bennett, who used to be the executive director of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. His documentation, signed under oath, says Morrison was not indefinitely suspended on February 10, 1996. What? You know, the whole world knows that he got kicked out, he got suspended. And then what comes out, Hannibal, and anybody that's still listening to me, right, is Exhibit TM0015 that's produced by the defendants that actually lifts the suspension that Tommy was placed on July 11th, 2006. And they lift the suspension, okay? And then another one here, it says, this is docket 217 in federal court, this honorable court should not lose sight of the fact that no one diagnosed Mr. Morrison with HIV on February 10, 1996. And that's coming from the Nevada State Athletic Commission. That's not coming from me. I'm just a messenger of all that, right? So was he diagnosed? Did he have HIV in Vegas? No, he did not. And then if I want to go a little bit further here, there is a law in Nevada that says, it's under NRS 467.115, that says a person making false oath in a matter before the commission or hearing examiner is guilty of perjury, which is a category D felony and shall be punished as provided in NRS 193.130. So in other words, why would any of these guys in this lawsuit for the commission jeopardize their career and be guilty of perjury? So no, he did not have HIV. And that's as per the commission in Vegas. That's also as per the scientists that did his postmortem and the scientists that did his postmortem and antemortem. So they all jive up. So nothing happened in Vegas, right? Nothing happened in Boston, Massachusetts, where he was tested. Nothing happened in Omaha, Nebraska. Nobody has provided any proof of the virus itself.